What if the U.S. military was sent to your street, not to protect you, but to control you? This isn't a distant nightmare. It's a real growing threat. Donald Trump is once again invoking the Insurrection Act, a power he's hinted at using for years. But here's the kicker. He's not talking about military action for national defense. He's talking about using it to enforce his own agenda, to quiet dissent. Why bring this up now? And more importantly, what does it mean for you and your rights? Stick with me, because the next chapter in this story could change everything. So why is Trump bringing up the Insurrection Act again? The truth is, this isn't the first time he's floated the idea. In fact, he's been talking about it for years, trying to normalize the thought of military intervention in domestic affairs. But what does it really mean when a former president suggests using the military like this? Is it a simple warning, or is something bigger brewing? And here's the thing. We're not just talking about a one-time incident. This is part of a dangerous pattern we've seen before, where power is pushed to the brink. So what happens if this isn't just an empty threat? Trump claims the Insurrection Act is a powerful tool, something he's ready to use if necessary. But here's the catch. The facts don't back him up. He says 48% of presidents have invoked it, but that's misleading. In reality, only 15 presidents have ever used the Insurrection Act, and most invoked it under very specific conditions, like when there's actual insurrection or to enforce civil rights, as in the 1960s South. So what's Trump really up to? Is he pushing for power, or just trying to intimidate with a tool that's rarely used? And what happens if this isn't just talk? But here's where things get even more alarming. Trump isn't just invoking the Insurrection Act in theory. He's already shown a willingness to militarize the streets, whether in Portland, California, or Illinois. We've seen him try to push military forces into American cities before, and each time the courts stepped in, blocking him. But what if this time is different? What if, instead of defending the Constitution, he's using the threat of military force to control it? And that's not just a possibility. It's a dangerous shift we've started to normalize. If he gets his way, this won't just be a one-off. It could set a precedent for how future leaders approach military power on U.S. soil. Now, let's look at the real dangers. Trump isn't just hinting at the Insurrection Act anymore. He's laying the groundwork for something far more troubling. The more he talks about deploying the military, the more it reveals his true intent to use federal troops for control, not just crisis management. Take this key detail. When the Insurrection Act is invoked, it's supposed to address actual threats, like violent insurrections or civil rights violations. But Trump's rhetoric isn't grounded in either. He's not facing an insurrection. He's facing opposition. So why is he trying to justify military force over political resistance? This isn't about protecting the law anymore. It's about weaponizing it. Now, the situation is escalating fast. Trump's not just talking about it anymore. He's pushing forward on multiple fronts. In Chicago, federal judges have already stepped in, ruling that his actions are creating chaos he then uses as an excuse for more control. Meanwhile, his administration continues to send agents into cities, often clashing with state and local laws, further inflaming tensions. And it doesn't stop there. States are now looking at new ways to challenge this abuse of power. But the threat of military action looms large. What happens if this keeps going? What happens when the very forces meant to protect civil rights are used to strip them away? But let's bring this back to you. The question is, how does this affect everyday people? Imagine the fear of seeing military troops on your street, not for protection, but to enforce an agenda. For countless Americans, this isn't just an abstract threat. It's a real possibility. People are already feeling the effects of overreach, whether it's in the form of federal agents storming neighborhoods or local authorities unable to protect their rights. This is no longer a theoretical scenario. It's happening. If this feels familiar, if you've seen these power plays before, share your thoughts in the comments. We need to talk about how far this could go. But it's not just about what Trump wants. It's about the system that lets him make these moves. The real question is, how is the system failing? The Insurrection Act was designed to protect citizens, not to be used as a tool of control. But here's the unsettling part. The laws are being manipulated. The military is no longer a safeguard. It's becoming a tool for political leverage. The threat is being normalized, and that should make us all nervous. Power dynamics like these don't exist in a vacuum. When a system starts to bend, it only takes a small push before it snaps. And that's the danger we're facing: systemic corruption at its core, using laws meant to protect as a weapon to divide. So where does this lead? We're staring down two possible paths. On one hand, Trump's use of the Insurrection Act could spark a legal battle unlike anything we've seen before, with courts forced to intervene to protect constitutional rights. On the other hand, if the system continues to allow these power grabs, we could be witnessing the beginning of a new norm, one where military force is used to quash dissent. The uncertainty is what makes this so dangerous. We're on the brink, and the next move could change everything. Will the court stand firm, or will this power play become the new precedent? Here's the truth. What happens next could reshape the very foundation of American democracy. This isn't just about one president or one law. It's about the future of how power is wielded in this country. If the system continues to bend, we could be witnessing the normalization of military control in domestic affairs. But the story isn't over yet. The next move is already forming, and we'll be watching closely. If you want to stay informed on where this goes, make sure you subscribe. The fight for America's future is just beginning.